How's it, grade 10s? Moving on to a new section, algebraic products. Okie doke, so this is basically last year's stuff. Just having a look here, distribution. So basically, if you've got something outside the bracket, you just distribute it into both the terms. And remember, when you distribute, you multiply. So for example, you've got 5x, and then inside the bracket 3x squared plus 4. If we distribute this inside the bracket, in other words, that one with that one, and that one with that one, we get 5 times 3 is 15. X times x squared is x cubed. Just remember, grade 10s, if the bases are the same and you're multiplying, you add the exponents. So this has an invisible 1 there, so 1 plus 2 is the 3. Okay, then 5 times 4 is the 20, and just x. Okay, so that's just some revision. Now, a binomial with a binomial. So in other words, you've got 2 terms in a bracket, multiplied by 2 terms in a bracket. We're going to use this FOIL method. Okay, so don't worry about too much like that. I'm going to show you now with these examples here. So I'd rather work through these examples with you. Okay, so we've got here example 1. A, and we've got okay, so there's our example there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use something called FOIL. And what FOIL stands for, the F stands for first, the O stands for outer, the I stands for inner, and the L stands for last. Okay, now what that means is, what we're going to do here is we're going to do the first terms of each bracket. So that's your first. So 2x times x gives us 2x squared. Then we go on to the O's, which is outers. So it's going to be the 2 outer terms. So this is now outers. And 2x times 4 gives us 8x. The I stands for inners, so it's your 2 inner terms. Minus 3 times x is minus 3x. And then L stands for last, so it's your 2 last terms like that. Okay, so minus 3 times 4 is minus 12. What we need to do now, grade 10s, is we just need to get like terms together. So there's no other x squared, so that's just 2x squared. Plus 8x minus 3x gives us plus 5x. And then you're just left with minus 12. Okay, so just remember FOIL. First, outer, inner, last, when you've got a binomial with a binomial. So we've got another example here. Just copy it down. Okay, so we've got a binomial with a binomial, so we're going to use FOIL, first, outer, inner, last. So our first terms, 7 times 3 gives us 21. A squared times a squared. If the bases are the same and you're multiplying, you add the exponent, so that's going to be a to the 4. 2 plus 2 is the 4. Then we're going to do our outers. 7a squared times b will give us plus 7a squared b. Do our inners. Minus 2b times 3a squared will give us minus 6a squared b. So that's our inners. Now we must just do our lasts. Minus 2b times b gives us minus 2b squared. Just get like terms together. There's no other a to the 4s, so we just write 21a to the 4. A squared b, so these are like terms, so we've got 7 minus 6 of them, which gives us 1 a squared b. And then we're just left with that last term, minus 2b squared. Okay. Moving on with the slides. Okay, so this looks like a little bit of a complex one. It's not too bad, just remember, FOIL. So I just want to copy it down and then we can work through it together. Okay, so there it is there. Now, binomial, with a binomial, we have two terms multiplied a two-term bracket. So we're going to use FOIL. Now, don't worry that there's fractions here. We're going to do it separately, okay? So, first, now, I'm going to look at the fractions first. So, when you multiply, just multiply top with top, bottom with bottom. So, 1 times 3 gives us 3 over 4 times 4 gives us 16. P times P gives us P squared. Okay, so that's our first term. Let's look at our outers. Again, grade 10s, multiply top with bottom with the fractions. So we've got 1 times 2 gives us 2. 4 times 3 gives us 12. Okay, then we've got P times Q gives us PQ. Let's do our inners. So a negative times the positive will give us a negative. Again, top with top, bottom with bottom. 1 times 3 gives us 3 over 3 times 4 gives us 12. Then we've got Q times P will give us PQ. Okay, yes, I know it's QP, but I'm just putting it in alphabetical order. All right. Now we just need to do our lasts. So a negative times a positive gives us the negative. 1 times 2 gives us 2. 3 times 3 gives us 9. Then Q times Q gives us Q squared. So what I want you guys to notice from that is I took the numbers with the numbers, the letters with the letters. Keep it simple, grade 12s, grade 10s. So we can't simplify this fraction, 3 over 16, so it just stays 3 over 16 p squared. Here we've got a PQ, so I'm just going to add them. The denominators are the same, so I don't have to find an LCD. So plus 2 minus 3 gives us minus 1 over 12 PQ. And then there we just left with minus 2 over 9. Again, we can't simplify that, so it just stays like that. All right, grade 10s. Okay, so what I would like you to do from that is exercise 1.2, number 1 and 2, the left-hand side column, please. I'm just going to move on grade 10s because it's very similar work. So, squaring a binomial. Now, you don't have to worry about this SMS method, okay? I want you guys just to follow the FOIL method. You can do the FOIL method with all of them and you cannot go wrong. If you start learning fancy methods like this, you're going to confuse yourself and you're going to get lost, okay? When you feel a little bit more confident and you're more knowledgeable on this, I will show you these quick little SMS methods and things like that. So, don't worry about SMS. We are going to be using FOIL. So again, I'm just going to go through these examples with you. And as you can see, you can use the FOIL method for these, okay? You'll get exactly the same answer. So example 2a, we've got 3x plus 2 squared. Okay, now remember with your exponents, anything squared means you've got that thing twice, multiplied by itself twice. So this is actually equal to 3x plus 2 multiplied by 3x plus 2. We've got two of those brackets. Now remember with the example I just did just now, you've got a binomial by a binomial, so we must FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. So now grade 10s, I'm not going to do the little hops. You guys can see what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be doing the first terms. So 3x times 3x gives me 9x squared. I'm going to do the outers. 3x times 2 gives me plus 6x. I'm going to do the inners. Plus 2 times plus 3x gives us plus 6x. Then we've got the lasts. 2 times 2 is 4. I just get like terms together now. No other x squared, so it's 9x squared. 6x plus 6x gives us 12x. And then we're just left with that last term there. All right. Then example B. Okay, again, we've got a bracket that is squared. So all that means is that we have two of those brackets. So it's 2x minus 3y cubed, 2x minus 3y cubed. We have a binomial multiplied by binomial, so we need to FOIL. So the firsts, 2x times 2x gives me 4x squared. Do the outers. 2x times minus 3y squared. Well, first of all, 2 times minus 3 is going to give us minus 6. And then x times y cubed is just xy cubed. For the inners, minus 3 times 2 gives us minus 6. Then you've got y cubed times x is going to give us y cubed x. But if I put in alphabetical, it's going to be xy cubed. Then we've got minus 3 y cubed times minus 3y cubed. So minus 3 times minus 3 is plus 9. Bases are the same, and we're multiplying. We add the exponent. So that's going to be y to the 6. Get like terms together. No other x squared. So it's 4x squared. Xy cubed. So we've got minus 6 here, minus 6 of them. So that's minus 12 xy cubed. And then we're left with that last term, 9y to the 6. Okay. Then another fraction one. It's not going to be too bad. I just want to copy it down and we can work through it. Okay, so remember what that squared means? The squared just means we've got two of these brackets. Okay, binomial with the binomial, so we need to FOIL. So first, 7p times 7p. So 7 times 7 is 49. P times p is p squared. Now we're ready to do the outers. Now remember, grade 10s, that this is over an invisible 1. And the same thing with this. So all I'm going to do again, when I multiply this with this, is just do the top with the top and the bottom with the bottom. So first of all, we've got a positive times a negative is a negative. Then I'm looking at the tops, 7p times 1. So 7p times 1 is just 7p over. Let's look at the bottoms. 1 times p is just p. Now we're ready to do the inners. So negative times positive is a negative. Top with top, bottom with bottom. So 1 times 7p is 7p over p times 1 is p. Right, now we're ready for the lasts. Negative times the negative is a positive. Top with top, bottom with bottom. 1 times 1 is 1 over p times p is p squared. All right. Now, what I can do with these two here is I can simplify these two inner terms. For example, the p will cancel with the p will cancel with the p, and we're just left with 7, or minus 7 and minus 7. So that's what I'm going to do there. So I'm just going to simplify that to be minus 7 for this one, and then minus 7 for that one, because the p's cancel. Plus 1 over p squared. Get like terms together. There's no other p squareds. Yes, that is a p squared, but it's in the denominator, so it's not a like term, okay? So 49p squared, minus 7 is minus 14, plus 1 over p squared. All right, not too bad. Right, grade 10s, extra homework, thanks to Nick. You can do exercise 1.3, number 2 for me, please. Thanks.